the hard truth about client relationships. And I'll give 2 pieces of advice for anybody who's struggling with dealing with your clients. Cut those relationships early so that not in this ongoing cycle of just negativity. And I'll give 2 pieces of advice for anybody who's struggling with dealing with your clients. Number 1, in my experience, we found that hiring a client success manager whose only job is to just proactively contact your clients proactively and give them status updates. Even if there are no status updates, still that's still a good update. Say, hey, we're still working on your case. The next thing on our pipeline is by November 1st, we're looking to do this. At that point, we'll contact you at that time, blah, blah. Proactively doing that saves a lot of headache. If you put yourself in the shoes of your clients, they're dealing with some issue or something that they need. And if they're in the dark, then they start questioning things. They start doubting you. Do they even know that I have a case with you? But if you have just somebody who just focuses on that and just does that proactively, I've seen that does wonders. And then second is reading your Google reviews, knowing your strengths and know your weaknesses. Easy thing you can do is to go to your Google reviews and literally click on show more reviews. So you see all your reviews in one shot. Then all you do is you hit Control A, select all your reviews, copy it, throw it into ChatGPT and say, hey, I'm in this type of law firm in this city. I want you to analyze my reviews and tell me what are my top 5 strengths. Also, what are my top 5 weaknesses? And how would I be able to improve my law firm based on the reviews, and see what ChatGPT tells you. And I think it's really important to not only lean into your strengths, and if you see those buzzwords or things that's being used in Google reviews, make sure that's prominent on your website and your funnels, your emails and texts, but also understand what your weaknesses are so you can hire for those things or work on your client workflows. If it's things about communication, then you work on that. If it's things about speed, then you work on that. But like knowing yourself and continue refining your client workflows is key. Again, the growth happens where there's focus there. So just give more focus to that end. And as soon as you do that, then you will see improvement and you will have a way to be able to grow happily.
One other quick tip about managing client relationships that I learned from my dentist. Whenever you sign up a new client, one of the main questions on your new client questionnaire should be, how do you prefer that we communicate with you? Okay. Some people want you to communicate over the phone. Some people want you to use text messaging. Some people want you to send email. Some people have other communication systems that they pay attention to more frequently. Know that for every client and make sure that your client success manager is honoring that preference. It makes a huge difference that we communicate with you. Okay. Some people want you to communicate over the phone. Some people want you to use text messaging. Some people want you to send email. Some people have other communication systems that they pay attention to more frequently. Know that for every client and make sure that your client success manager is honoring that preference. It makes a huge difference.
The hard truth about client relationships. Neil, I want to hear your insights about how it is dealing with clients on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, it's one of the big challenges. And I think for me personally, it's one of my strengths because, look, I can honestly say, look, I'm not the best attorney in the world. There's a lot that I have left to learn, but I do a good job in managing the client relationships. And I do that largely on a personal basis, but I have help with that, a client relationship administrator who supports my efforts in that area. But managing your clients, managing their expectations, making sure that the information flow is two-way and timely and professional, then also addressing quickly and sufficiently those difficult clients, because there's going to be difficult clients in different ways. Clients end up being difficult because just they're difficult people to work with, or they have challenges that you have to understand and respect, or they have issues in their lives that you are well advised to understand and respond to. There's not just one cut and dry answer as to who's a difficult client and who isn't. I will say that one of the first lessons I learned when I initially was doing family law matters is the folks who come to the family law practice oftentimes are angry. They're angry about the situation that they find themselves in. And that's true for a lot of different practice areas. When your gut tells you that this is a client that you don't feel comfortable working with, you have to trust your gut and you have to cut the relationship loose and move on. And it's pretty difficult in the beginning, particularly if it's a client that potentially can mean a lot of money to you or a lot of potential referrals. You got to be honest and with yourself. And like I said, I've always ended up learning that you get that icky feeling. I know that's not exactly a technical term, but when you get that feeling that whatever this person's issue is, I don't feel like I'm going to be able to serve them well. You got to get out of that relationship.
And I'm sure a lot of our listeners right now are like, yeah, I feel it. For me, I think it comes down to expectations, setting the right expectations with your clients and not over-promising, setting healthy boundaries, especially early in the relationship, and honestly, under-promising and just over-delivering versus over-promising and under-delivering. So Neil, you brought up amazing points, being able to know who you should work with, trusting your gut instinct about, this is the person that I want to work with. Again, life is short. If you're upset, things upset you, just cut those relationships early so that you're not in this ongoing cycle of just negativity.
And let me give just a little piece of advice about how to let a client go in a way that doesn't come back to haunt you. I've had this happen, not a lot of times, but more than a few. And I learned very early on is to let the client know that your needs, your challenges, I feel, are bigger or more complex than I'm able to address. So I shifted to the point of saying, it's not you, it's me. Now, it takes a little bit of humility because it really is you. It's not me. But if you are able to, with some authenticity, say, look, I think what you're looking for or what your needs are better served by somebody with more experience or somebody who has a different perspective or a different approach to business or to law, then I think you'd be better off with somebody else. And I'm happy to recommend someone or help you find someone. And that way they leave on good terms. You've severed the relationship, but they think you've done so because you have their interests in mind. And at the end of the day, you really do, because you want them to be satisfied, to get their legal issue resolved, but you can't see yourself completing the task. So it's one way to do it.